Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to give you the essential rundown on the latest in AI news.
That's right. It's moving incredibly fast.
So today, we're looking at a whole bunch of recent developments.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from big enterprise tools, new coding models, creative AI stuff, even, well, trying to talk to dolphins.
It really covers the spectrum, doesn't it? We've pulled this from various tech sites, AI publications, industry blogs, all fresh news.
The idea is to cut through the noise, give you the key takeaways. So let's jump in. Enterprise and development seems like a good place to start.
Sounds good. A lot happening there.
Okay, first, Strategic Technology Consulting, or STC. They've launched something called Intelligent MBSE, AI for model-based systems engineering. What does that mean in practice?
Well, MBSE itself is already, a pretty complex way to design systems. Adding AI on top, the promise is really about speed, accuracy, getting things done faster with fewer errors.
So automating parts of the engineering design process itself.
Exactly. It's moving AI deeper into that core design work, not just assisting around the edges. Could be quite significant for complex projects.
And speaking of automation, Anecdotes is putting AI agents onto Google Cloud for GRC governance, risk, and compliance.
Yeah, and they're saying these are some of the first AI agents built specifically for GRC in the enterprise.
Yeah, that sounds very specialized.
It is, and it shows a trend, I think. We're moving beyond just general AI assistance to these highly focused agents designed for specific, complex business tasks. GRC is definitely complex.
Right. Okay, sticking with business tools. DeepL, the translation folks.
They made the Forbes AI 50 list again, second year running.
And they're citing over 200,000 business customers. That's pretty solid validation, isn't it?
It really is. It just shows that their AI for translation and also writing assistance now is delivering real value that businesses are willing to pay for. It works.
Okay, let's shift to coding. Big news from OpenAI.
The GPT 4.1 family.
Yeah, GPT 4.1, but also a mini and a nano version. They're saying these excel at coding and following instructions, available via API.
Interesting that they're offering different sizes. Suggests they're trying to give developers more specific tools, maybe optimized for different tasks or resource constraints.
And they specifically called out coding performance. That's clearly a huge focus area.
Oh, absolutely. The demand for AI help in software development is massive.
But they're also phasing out GPT 4.5, their previous biggest model, from the API soon. Any thoughts on why?
Could be a few things. Maybe the newer models are just more efficient. Or maybe they want to consolidate their offerings around these newer architectures. Or perhaps 4.5 just wasn't hitting the right performance cost balance for most users via the API.
Okay, but it's not all smooth sailing for AI and coding, is it? There was that Microsoft research.
Ah, yes, the debugging study. That was quite insightful.
It suggested current AI tools are actually quite limited in certain debugging tasks compared to humans.
Right. Humans, when debugging, actively look for new information, they interact with the code execution, they kind of probe things in a way AI doesn't yet.
So AI can write the code, maybe suggest fixes, but that deep investigative debugging still needs a human.
For now, it seems so. It highlights that human intuition and that deeper understanding of context are still crucial, especially when things go wrong in complex ways.
Okay. Moving into education now. Google Classroom.
With the Gemini-powered feature.
Yeah, helping teachers create quiz questions from text they upload or type in. That sounds potentially really useful.
Definitely. Anything that can help reduce that administrative load on teachers is a good thing, right? Freeing them up for more direct teaching. It's a practical application.
Now here's an interesting one. Hugging Face, known for language models, acquired Pollen Robotics.
Yeah, an open source robot startup. That caught my eye too.
Their goal, they say, is to democratize robotics. Selling Pollen's robot, Reachy 2, and letting the community improve the code.
It's a fascinating move. Hugging Face has been huge in democratizing AI models, particularly NLP. Applying that same open source playbook to robotics, that could really shake things up and make robotics more accessible.
Bridging the software AI world and the physical robot world.
Exactly. Lots of potential there.
And related to models, Protect AI and Hugging Face. They've scanned 4 million AI models since they started collaborating 6 months ago.
4 million, that's a huge number.
What does that tell us?
It tells us there's a growing awareness and, frankly, a need for security scanning within AI models themselves.
Wow.
Just like software, they can have vulnerabilities. Scanning at that scale is becoming essential.
Makes sense. Now, new models keep coming. ServiceNow AI has one called April 5B.
Right, a smaller model. Only 5 billion parameters.
But they claim it outperforms larger models but uses fewer resources. That efficiency angle seems important.
Very important. If smaller models can genuinely perform as well or better than the giants, that makes powerful AI much more accessible, cheaper to run, easier to deploy on, say, local devices. It's a key trend to watch.
But then you have Nvidia AI going the other way, kind of. Ultra-long 8B?
Ultra-long context windows, right. Up to 4 million tokens.
4 million? What can you even do with that much context?
Well, think about feeding it entire books or massive legal documents or incredibly long conversation histories. It could allow AI to understand and reason over vast amounts of information in a way that just wasn't possible before, analyzing very long sequences.
Okay, so tackling really big text-based tasks.
Precisely. Research, summarization of huge reports, things like that.
Google's also busy with agents. They released an agent development kit, ADK.
Yeah, an open source framework. The idea is to make it easier to build these systems where multiple AI agents work together.
So not just one AI, but a team of AIs.
Kind of, yeah. Coordinating different specialized agents to solve a bigger problem. Google providing tools to build those applications, covering the whole process from design to deployment.
And speaking of agents, the Model Context Protocol, MCP, now has a C# SDK.
Which basically makes it easier for developers using Microsoft's tools, like C# programmers, to work with this protocol for agent communication. Broader accessibility.
And we're seeing actual agent applications being built. Harmonic apparently used LangGraph and Langsmith to make an investment agent for venture capital.
That's what's reported. Using AI agents to streamline parts of the venture investing workflow, it shows AI moving into these quite high-stakes decision-making areas in finance.
Requires a lot of trust, I imagine.
It does, or at least trust in the process and the data it provides.
Then there's TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. Quietly built a huge AI engine worth $12.2 billion.
Yeah, powered by what they call agentic AI, embedded in like 150-plus enterprise workflows already. Finance, HR, supply chain.
That scale is pretty massive, especially since it hasn't been widely publicized. Agentic AI implies more autonomy.
It certainly suggests that. Moving beyond simple automation towards agents that can perhaps manage more complex workflows or make decisions, the fact that they have such a large order book shows businesses are buying into it.
Wow. And maybe the ultimate easy button. GitHub Spark. Build an app from a single-sentence AI prompt.
That's the claim. It definitely hints at that future of, no-code or very low-code development.
Just describe the app you want, and AI builds it.
Potentially. It could massively lower the barrier to creating software if it really takes off, democratizing app creation.
There's always a but, isn't there? This slop-squatting threat.
Ah, yes. The risk with AI-generated code.
Reports saying about 1 in 5 AI code snippets contain fake, potentially malicious libraries.
That's the concerning finding. It's like typo squatting, but for code generated by AI. Bad actors could inject malware into software supply chains this way. It means you really have to scrutinize the code AI gives you.
You can't just trust it blindly.
Definitely not. Verification is crucial.
Okay, let's switch to some more visible AI stuff, the fun stuff. ChatGPT had another viral moment.
The AI action figures. Saw theirs all over LinkedIn.
Yeah, people making images of themselves as box toys. Apparently it drove user numbers up, just like that Ghibli filter did before.
It shows the power of these creative, personalized AI image tools. People love playing with them, and it brings them onto the platform. Good marketing, intentional or not.
And Netflix is testing AI search using OpenAI's tech.
Right. Going beyond just searching titles or actors, maybe searching by mood or plot description or asking more complex questions.
Like, find me a funny movie from the 90s set in space.
Something like that, yeah. A more natural, conversational way to find something to watch. Could improve content discovery a lot.
And this one blew my mind a bit. An AI model generating full Tom and Jerry cartoons.
TTT-MLP from Stanford and Nvidia. Trained on the classic episodes.
Generating 60 seconds of animation in that style, just from a text prompt.
Yeah.
That seems like a huge lead for generative video.
It's seriously impressive, capturing not just images, but motion, timing, character interaction, and a specific artistic style over a whole minute. Big implications for animation and content creation.
Wild. Okay, let's dip into science. Google DeepMind and dolphins.
DolphinGemma, a language model designed to try and understand dolphin sounds.
Using pixel phones underwater to record them? That's dedication.
It is. It's a 400 million parameter model.
Yeah.
So not huge by today's standards, but specifically tailored for analyzing these complex vocalizations from the Wild Dolphin Project data.
Trying to crack interspecies communication with AI. Fascinating.
The really cool application of AI for fundamental research.
Now, all this AI needs hardware. Big news from Nvidia on manufacturing.
Moving some chip production to the U.S., right? Arizona and Texas.
Yeah, commissioning over 1 million square feet of space, aiming for, get this, up to $500 billion worth of AI gear made in the U.S. over 4 years.
Wow. That's a massive investment in domestic manufacturing, driven by supply chain concerns, government incentives, probably a mix of things.
And production of their new Blackwell chips has supposedly started at TSMC's Arizona plant already.
Shows how critical that hardware supply chain is, and the push to make it more resilient and geographically diverse.
On the topic of AI companies and money, Kodiak Robotics, the autonomous trucking startup.
Going public via SPAC?
Yes, valued at $2.5 billion pre-money. It seems like investors are still interested in self-driving, at least for trucks.
Yeah, the trucking and logistics space is often seen as a more near-term viable market for autonomy compared to, say, passenger robotaxis. So investor confidence might be higher there.
And then there's Ilya Sutskever, OpenAI co-founder.
His new company, Safe Superintelligence, or SSI.
Raised $2 billion, with no public product yet.
$2 billion. That's an extraordinary amount of funding based purely on the team and the vision, which is focused on building safe AGI.
It really underscores the hype, but also maybe the perceived importance of getting AI safety right.
Absolutely. Investors are placing huge bets, not just on capability, but on the safe development of future AI.
Even smaller AI companies are expanding. Bridgewise, an AI stock analytics chatbot, is setting up in Dubai.
Shows the global reach. AI financial tools aren't just a Silicon Valley thing. Dubai's becoming quite a hub.
But amidst all this spending, some analysts are asking, could this be like the dot-com bubble, all this investment in AI data centers?
It's a valid question to raise. There's always a risk of overinvestment or a hype cycle getting ahead of sustainable business models.
Cautionary note.
Yeah, a reminder that fundamentals still matter, even with revolutionary tech.
Okay, lastly, AI and geopolitics. NATO is adopting Palantir's Maven Smart System,
which uses AI to help military commanders, giving them a common operational picture securely.
That's a pretty significant step for AI in the defense context, isn't it?
Definitely. It shows AI becoming integrated into core military command and control systems, highlights its strategic importance.
Meanwhile, in China, reports suggest chip bans might actually be supercharging their AI innovation, along with companies like DeepSeek rising.
It's a complex picture. The bans create challenges for sure, but they also seem to be forcing more domestic innovation and perhaps a greater focus on practical, deployable AI applications rather than just chasing the absolute biggest models.
So an unintended consequence, maybe?
No.
Focusing innovation differently?
Could be. And investors there seem focused on those practical uses.
And finally, this dinner between Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang and Donald Trump, raising concerns.
The concern seems to be whether it might lead to policies allowing continued sales of advanced AI chips to China, which some worry could disadvantage the U.S. and Europe in the long run.
It's that tricky intersection of business, tech leadership, and national security strategy.
Exactly. Very complex, with significant global implications depending on how chip access policies evolve.
Okay, that was a whirlwind tour. A lot going on.
It really is. The pace doesn't seem to be slowing down at all.
So just recapping the main themes. Rapid development everywhere, lots of focus now on real-world business uses, big money pouring into infrastructure and startups, and these ongoing ethical and geopolitical questions.
Yeah, and the aha moments are things like AI getting deeper into coding, customer service, even science like the Dolphin project, and the creative stuff like animation. It's touching so many areas.
It's definitely a lot to keep track of. We hope this deep dive helped to kind of clarify the key moves happening right now.
Hopefully provided some context.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. With AI moving this fast, touching everything, what rules or norms do you think are most critical to get right soon to make sure this all develops responsibly?
That's the big question, isn't it? What guardrails do we need as this becomes even more integrated into, well, everything? Something to think about.